Welcome back to a live look inside the Richmond Hills Curling Club for the 2020 Humber Bonspiel. The next action coming your way, the Humber men going to take on the Fanshawe Falcons. The men got off to a good start, beating the women from Fleming College. Ended up conceding with a 10-2 victory. Both teams getting a few extra rocks in, practicing up. Trying to get a feel for this ice. Zach Shirtliff going to give this one a throw. See Brendan Jackson out there in front with the broom. I'm Adam Lucier. I'll be calling this game for you. Still plenty more action on the go. Match is taking place on Sheet 4 and Sheet 5 as well. This one coming to you from Sheet 1. Early start to this one, 9 a.m. the first matches. Both opponents of the Humber Hawks conceding. Humber's women picked up a big win over the Fanshawe women, and as I just mentioned, these men played tough against Fleming. Show of sportsmanship before we kick this one off. Skip for Humber, Zach Shirtliff making his way down the pitch. Eight rocks incoming for either side. Fanshawe's going to have the hammer here in the first end. Emerson Steffler is going to get the first throw in the lead position here for the Hawks. Brady Lumley and Brendan Jackson, the men's with the broom in hand. Here's a lead from Steffler. Lumley brushing hard. Jackson and waiting for the instructions from Shirtliff. Both brooms getting involved here. Drawn towards that center line. That'll come up short of the house. So a little guard placed out there by Humber. Trying to get off to a quick start as they did in their first match. They went up 5-1 after 3 ends against Fleming. Here's the lead for Fanshawe. Just that one rock to deal with so far. Not a whole lot of pace on this one. Maybe looking at another guard coming into position. A lot of brooms in on the action there. Once again, short of the house, so a couple guards right on that center line. We'll see what Steffler has in store here. Shirtliff directing him wide outside. This toss will favor the right side, drawing in. Trying to evade that first rock thrown by Humber. This one's on a good line, just needs the right pace. And the Hawks right on the money with that one. Just to the right of the button. Putting themselves in a pretty good position here as we await the second stone thrown by the Falcons. Looks as though the skip is calling for a takeout here. Trying to get that yellow stone out of the house. Pretty good velocity on this rock here. Sweeper's getting going. Seems right on line for the takeout. And that one's right on the money. So on to the button goes the Fanshawe Falcons. Taking out one of Humber's rocks. Brendan Jackson going to take his spot on the hack. Lumley And Steffler going to sweep. First throw from Brendan Jackson here. Shirtlift wants it drawn right into the button here. Trying to respond from that takeout with one of their own. Sweepers working hard to get that one into the house. Come up just short of that Fanshawe rock. So Humber joins the house party. Both teams trying to jump out to a lead here. Latest throw by the Falcons on the left side, drawing in towards the center line. A lot of pressure on those brooms as this one's reaching its target. And another guard is in place. So the Fanshawe Falcons really blocking up that left side there. Shirtlift calling for the opposite. Seeing a play on the right side there. Jackson once again with the throw for the Hawks. Comes off the hack with some steam there. Brooms are away. That's Lumley. This one seems to have a good line to it. Right where Shirtlift wanted it, but a little too much pace. Will push it out the back end and cross the tee line. Not the show I'm sure Jackson was looking for there. Just missed that one by a hair as he has a talk with the skip, Zach Shirtlift. So after that, an opportunity for these Falcons. Once again, on that left side. Three brooms are there trying to urge that one into the house, and it will indeed reach. Two rocks in the house for the team in red. Humber with just the one thus far. On the hack now, Brady Lumley. Shirtlift looking for a takeout down on his end. Pointing his broom directly in front of the red rock on the outside. Lumley sweeping. This one seems to be right where they need it. As that one will get out of the house. A successful takeout for the Humber Hawks. A whole lot going on immediately in front of the house. Both sides going to have to work around it. Fanshawe skip Asklin for a similar position than what we've seen Shirtlift just call. Sweeping hard here, trying to draw that one in around those guards. Fancy footwork there to avoid those stones, and that one will reach the house. So after getting theirs taken out, Fanshawe right back in on the action. That one's inside the 12-foot ring. Lumley once again for the Hawks. Taking a look down, 150 feet down to his skip. Jackson awaiting instructions. Steffler sweeping hard. Now Jackson in on the action. Trying to bring that one where they need it. And that's a good looking throw there Two yellow stones appear to be the closest potential for the Hawks to get an early lead here. Third to last stone thrown here by the Falcons. Two remain for the Hawks. And with those two Humber stones looking vulnerable out there, perhaps an opportunity for the Falcons. Just squeaks back the guard. That's right on line. Double takeout looks pretty nice there for Fanshawe. The Humber men taking a close eye here, trying to gauge the situation. Zach Shirtliff for the first time today is getting his opportunity to throw. The skip for the men's curling team. Also a member of the men's rugby team here at Humber. What a performance he put on this season. A lot of similarities between curling and rugby. Jackson sweeping hard from the get-go. Trailing that one now. Lumley in on the action. Right by the guard it goes, and the takeout looking pretty good there for Humber. So a couple nice throws back to back. Shirtliff the skip, getting the job done. Looks as though the Hawks have the potential here to score two. Last toss here for Fanshawe before they throw the hammer. Falcons talking this one out. Whole lot of rocks in play here. Looking on the outside now. Skip slowly making his way towards the hack. So let's see what situation Humber's going to be in here as they await their last rock. Second to last for the Falcons. Looking on that left side now. Trying to turn this one in. Might make contact with that guard. Indeed it does. Just a hair offline. Could be an opening here for Humber. Game of inches as that one just ticks off one of the guard rocks. Appears as though Humber is already in position to score. Chance for Shirtliff to extend it. Steffler pointing his broom down at an open part of the house. That right side seems pretty clear. Whole lot going on right down Main Street. Shirtliff is going to favor that right side. Jackson getting involved now. Call for a hard sweep. Lumley getting in on it. Trying to bring this one into the button. Yet another good looking throw by Shirtliff there. So Humber has done a nice job putting themselves in pretty good position here in the first end. Fanshawe with the hammer. Opportunity to score. If Humber is the scoring team in this end, Fanshawe will maintain that hammer in the second end. Cameraman Diego Guillen in his first look at a curling rink. Seems awfully confused, but hey, he's having fun. It's been a day of learning for all of us here at HSN. And here's the hammer for Fanshawe. Big stone here in the first end. Trying to bring that one into the house. May have gone a little bit long. Seems pretty close there. Seems as though Fanshawe was the ones to get themselves on the board. So after a very competitive first end, so Fanshawe is going to find themselves ahead. Nice work with that hammer to score. Which means it's Humber's turn with the hammer. Opportunity to get back into this one. The lead throw here in the second end. That one's just going to squeak over the line. Appears as though a guard will be in place here. Neither team being ultra aggressive off the get-go. Sizing each other out here in the first couple ends. The lead for Humbler. Steffler for Humbler. And away it goes. Lumley's going to give this a good sweep here. Pretty similar from that first throw that we've seen from Fanshawe. Going to be a similar guard on the other side. Just squeaks into the house there. Extra last little sweep from Jackson and Lumley. Gets it to the promised land, so one in the house for Humber. Skip for Fanshawe. Asking for this one on the right side. And that one passes the hog line. This one beginning to curl in. No brooms needed as this one's going to do it on its own. Sherliff awaiting with his broom. Trying to bring this one back out the tee line, and indeed, it will get out there. So nothing doing on that throw for Fanshawe. Pretty open look here for Sherliff. Two rocks occupy the front of the house there. Steffler with his second throw here in the second end. Jackson and Lumley getting down on this one. Sherliff barking orders. This one needs a little more legs here. That will come up just short of the house. Fanshawe skip taking the old bird's eye view on that one, seeing if it squeaked in any part of the blue. Calling for a similar position here on this throw. Plenty of rocks remain here in the second end. This one drawn in towards those guard stones. Fanshawe seems content just to let this one roll out. Sherliff is there. This one's still moving. And that one will kick out the back end. So a couple rocks. Now for Fanshawe, goes out that T-line. Need to start taking advantage of these opportunities. Brendan Jackson now. Lumley and Steffler on the brooms. Appears as though this one won't have the pace to make it to the house, but nonetheless a guard put up. Trying to block that Fanshawe drop play. After one end, the Humber women trail Fleming by a score of 1-0. Similar position to these Humber men, down 1-0 after one end. Fanshawe here, trying for a takeout. May have a little bit too much curve to it. That's certainly not what they were looking for. Good position here for Jackson and the Hawks. Trying to find their way on the scoreboard. Jackson releases from the hack.
No, I can hear Charlie way too loud.
Gingerly pace to this stone here. Lumley sweeping hard. Steffler taking it easy. It'll get past that first guard. This one will reach the house. So 2 for certain in the house for Humber. Nothing but yellow stones on the sheet at the moment. 4 rocks remain for either side. The direction from the skip, pointing directly at the button. Sweepers now getting involved. Trying to split the difference here. Squeak through those Humber stones and find its way to the house. A productive throw there by Fanshawe. Has them closest to the button. Still plenty left here. Does appear as though Sherliff likes the look of that red rock there. Maybe trying to get it out sooner rather than later. Lumley has this one turning outward. Steffler hard on the broom. Good looking throw there, but that other Humber rock doing no favors. Fanshawe remains closest. These Falcons looking for a takeout now. House, once populated with yellow, now looking a little bit sparse in there. This one's coming in with a whole lot of steam. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Fanshawe Falcons. They'll get the takeout, and they have the 2 rocks in the house. Lumley away now for Humber. The broom of Shirtliff right on the button. This one curling over the center line. Sweeper staying with it. Past the guard it goes. And some nice finesse there by Lumley and the Hawks. Winding down here in the second end. 2 stones to throw for each team. Humber has the hammer. Their talented skip, Zach Shirtliff, will get the final throw. A lot of talk here between the Falcons. Before the skip makes his way down. Plenty of options to choose from, plenty of angles to consider. And they seem happy with the decision. We're going to have our second to last red rock thrown here in end number 2. Still analyzing halfway down the sheet. Just under 150 feet between the 2 buttons. Whole lot of room to work with. So after much deliberation, we're going to see the throw here. Sweepers coming in on it now. Definitely some pylons in their way to get into the house. This one's going to be close, just squeaks by. Will it be enough? Indeed it is. Good looking throw by the Fanshawe Falcons. Has them sitting pretty here. Shirtliff taking a long look over the shoulder as he retreats his way down. Steffler giving the skip his orders. A slow turning shot here for Shirtliff. Curling out. Jackson giving a hard sweep to this one. Will it get there? Yes, it does, and that one squirts out the back end. Nice shot by Humber, now the 2 closest to the button. Shirtliff coming up big here. One last throw for the Falcons before Zach will return with the hammer. Discussing the different angles here for Fanshawe. Certainly don't want to make this easy for Humber with their final throw. Looking for the steal here. They do have that rock sitting in the front of the house there. Could potentially play guard if they're able to bring one into the button. It's been a tight, competitive match so far. We'll see which side was able to break the ice here. The push and the release. Another one curling outside. Just barely avoids contact there. And a nice looking takeout. Humber remains the closest, but Fanshawe does take the closest out of the way. A big throw up coming for Shirtliff and the Hawks. They find themselves down one here in the second end. Opportunity to come away with a point, perhaps two. This one turning in. Sweeping easy are the boys, now picking up the pace. Jackson and Lumley digging into this one. It's going to need all the help it could get. And that'll just bring it in to where they need to be. Another two on the board for the Hawks. So 2-1 is your score after two ends. Humber taking advantage of the hammer. This has been tightly contested. Pretty tentative on either side. Both sides have really been hitting their targets, hitting their marks. No one wants to be the first one to make a major error. The lead for Humbler. Steffler. Something about saying Steffler and Humber side by side. Hard sweeping, Lumley and Jackson. Shirtliff gonna get in on the fun here. And the guard is in place. Smack dab in the middle. Surveying his options. The skip for Fanshawe points his broom on the right side of the house. This one going to be released out of the right hand. Turning in. Sweepers getting busy here. Skip going to come down and help a hand. Looks to be similar pace to that Humber rock. It'll inch just a little bit ahead. Couple of buddies hanging out just in front of the house. Steffler wasted no time here on the second throw. Sherliff wants it on the outside.
God, I could hear them.
This one turning in.
And then Charlie halfway through goes, shit, I forgot about Chris.
Jackson holds for a moment. Now brings the broom down. This one will reach the house and still moving.
Said I was listening.
Sherliff seems happy with it. Second throw by Steffler, a good one. Right on pace, just a little off that center line. And right away, Skip taking no time, asking for that takeout. Especially with that wide open look.
So it's like mitigating the risk, right? Pretty much my go-to thing is mitigate the risk.
An update
So like if you throw it
on the Humber women. After two ends, they find themselves ahead by the score of 2-1 against the Fleming Knights.
I know, that's why I keep taking it out.
2-1 is the score here for the Humber men's, as these two teams have really paralleled each other. Both picking up wins after the opposition has conceded.
Yeah, like I can listen to the top, but I have to take it out when they're throwing.
Jackson sharing a laugh with Lumley before letting this one go. Appears as though Humber wants to follow this takeout with one of their own. Pretty good pace
Charlie talking at the same
on this throw by Jackson. Right on the money. That'll push the Red Rock out the back end. So successful there by Brendan Jackson.
column's a little bit small.
Might be a little deja vu here as Thomas and the Falcons are lining up a similar shot here. Both teams seem to be focused on that side of the house there.
And then it does this occasionally. Occasionally it does that really loud squeal.
This one curling in. Slow in turn. And that'll knock the rock there. And in the house go the Fanshawe Falcons. One stone in the house, and it is red. Sherliff wants it out of there ASAP. Brendan Jackson already had one successful takeout. Going for another one here. Lumley and Steffler not wasting any time with those brooms. Steffler stays on it. And once again, another takeout there by Jackson.
Do you see what weight they call?
Once again, that rock is going to be the focus.
Yeah.
As Thomas, once again, going to try to get that one out of there. Favoring that left side of the sheet. This one turning in as well. Seen some similar shots come back to back to back here. All have been executed well. Fanshawe going to need more of the same. So that will remove the rocker. In fact, it appears as though it just stuck on the back end there. So Humber still in business. Brady Lumley with the throw. Backwards hat, bringing some swag to the curling rink today. Jackson trailing this one with a heavy sweep. Steffler also pushing hard. Trying to clear the way for this one into the button. Just reaches that front part of the house. Plenty of congestion now in front of that button. 4 stones remain for the Falcons.
I just want to know how to turn it down.
This time heading towards that right side once again.
I lost her.
And in turn. Curling in slowly. Sporadic with the brooms. This one's just going to squeak by those guards. Will it find its home? No, Shirtliff. It's going to find a way to get that one past the tee line. Or in fact, just as that Humber Rock did before, that one's going to stick on the back end of the house. So great line there, great curl by Fanshawe, just a little heavy. As Lumley throws Diego Guillen in his familiar squat. Getting those photos in. Nice work, Diego. Jackson taking it easy on the broom. Gonna let this one go its own way. Now he picks it up. Nice work there, Brendan Jackson. Staying heavy on that broom as he's done all day. Coming back winded after every sweep. You can tell he's working hard out there. Nice work by the man, Brendan Jackson. Valuable member of this Humber men's curling team. Also a valuable member of the sports information team at Humber. You can see him at a whole lot of sporting events throughout this year. This one for Fanshawe on a good line just past the guard, and that'll be a good looking takeout here for the Falcons. So just as this game has been, one good throw followed by another. Neither team really trying to break this one wide open. So Shirtliff coming back down from a skip position. On the other end, it's Steffler. Second last stone here for Humber. In the third end, Fanshawe does have the hammer. 2-1 is your score. Humber with a slim lead here at the Richmond Hill Curling Club. 2020 Humber Bonspiel. Brandon Jackson sweeping away as he's done all day. It's heavy, but it will clear out that rock in the back. So another takeout. Seen plenty of those here in the third end. Conversation between Jackson and Lumley as they make their way down. They've been busy today.
So one of the comments I'm hearing right now is mainly they're not calling sweeping, like the weight. And so Charlie, that last one they jammed on the back.
Thomas
No idea what weight was.
winning his throw for the Falcons here.
Right, so that's why it's super important. It's hard to tell weight coming from the other end, right? Like if you're trying to call line.
Clearing things out for his skip as he works his way back down. A potential scoring rock here for Fanshawe. Methodical here with the throw, taking his time.
Doesn't want to bury just because if you bury it, they get the hit and roll off the side.
Cleaning that rock off, and away he goes. The release on the right side, turning in. Sweeper is going to let this one roll for the time being. Now they'll lean over it. Pretty good looking line, trying to split those two reds. This one curling right in on the button. Picture perfect throw there for the Falcons. So two Reds nestled up together. Steffler, rightfully so, pointing directly in the middle of them with the hammer. Fanshawe has Humber just trying to go for the double takeout here. Make life difficult for the hammer throw. The two sports star, Shirtliff. Heavy push there, a lot of pace on that rock. Trying to get these things out of here in a hurry. That will only make contact with the one red stone. So not exactly what Humber was looking for. They do get the one, but not both. So Fanshawe likely to score at least one here. Opportunity for more as we await the hammer throw. And for the Falcons, it's hammer time. Sweepers getting busy. A big chance here to erase this Humber lead. Broom still going heavy. Does this one have the pace it needs? It doesn't appear so. A little off the mark there, so if my eyes serve me correctly, that's another point on the board for the Falcons. So that'll make this one 2-2. Hammer doesn't affect the play too much, but Fanshawe does score, so it'll flip to Humber now. The lead for Fanshawe. Awaiting instructions from his skip. And here comes the first throw of the fourth end. Not a whole lot of velocity on this one here. Skip's going to come down to help a hand. And the guard is up just to the right of that center line. We'll see how Shirtliff and Steffler want to play this one. Perhaps putting up another guard or playing things a little bit more aggressively. After three ends, Humber men tied up 2-2 with the men of the Fanshawe Falcons. And for the Humber women, they find themselves up by a score of 6-1. So the great day for the Humber women continue. Lumley leaning hard on that broom. This one just gets by the guard. And a pretty good spot there by Humber. That one should be protected in front of that first stone by the Falcons. Smiles all around for Shirtliff and Lumley. Pretty happy with that last one there. Jackson and Steffler will dap it up as Brendan heads back for his throw. Here comes the release.
Yeah, probably. He asked if we want the player names.
Similar pace to that first throw here. approaching the house. And that one will find a home as well. So tit for tat, go the Fanshawe Falcons and the Humber Hawks here. Steffler now for the Hawks. Shirtliff asking for this one on the left side of the house, avoiding that traffic that's been laid down. Jackson coming up behind that stone, brushing hard. Seems to be good pace. Now Lumley in on it. That one will make contact.
You can read my writing.
Skip Charlie Richard. Giving directions here. Whole lot to go here in the fourth end. And that last throw there put Humber at a pretty good place here.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of a miscue by Fanshawe there. Certainly going to help the Hawks.
Oh, when you see, like,
All tied up at 2, both teams
you're getting missed.
trying to take the lead. Brendan Jackson, Quebec native. Slow pace to this one. Sweepers seem content with it. Now Lumley turns in on it. And there you have it. Guard place there. Trying to protect that closest rock here for Humber. Ian Thomas in position for Fanshawe. His skip, Richard, calling for a takeout on that opposite side there. And in turn here for the Falcons. Just has to squeak by that front guard. Does it with ease. Broom's getting involved. Looking for the takeout. And there it is. Now we'll head past the tee line for Humber. 2 rocks in the house, 1 red, 1 yellow. Humber is the closest. Jackson and Shirtliff try to formulate a takeout of their own. Much more pace than that last one we've seen. It's what appears to be right on target. And there goes the red rock. Another 2 in the house for Humber. Daps all around for Brendan Jackson. Oftentimes plays as the 5th, an alternate for this team, but getting the start today.
That's up. That's like
Henderson now for the Falcons. This one beginning to curl in. And that one's going to make it out the tee line as well. So it's a lonely house party. Just one sticking in there. Lumley with the toss. Fourth last. We'll see from Humber here in this end. 2-2 is the score with 3 in the books. Steffler and Jackson taking directions here from Shirtliff. Jackson calling off the broom now, getting busy. Can it squeak through? Just a tap, and in the house it goes. So Humber putting themselves in a pretty good position to go. 3 rocks on either side. Skip Charlie Richard going over his options here. Cameraman Dax in his ready position, getting ready for that B-roll. This is a big end for either side. This one's slowly turning out. That's a good looking throw there. Nice finesse touch. And then there were 3 for the Hawks. 3 rocks remaining. One of those will be the hammer. These teams have rotated scoring on each end so far today. That throw by Lumley on its way. Jackson staying cool. Steffler. The timid sweep here now picking up the pace. And that one's in there. Things looking up for the Hawks at the moment. Still 4 more rocks to throw.
There's no double there. You can't. It's buried. There's no way you're getting that double.
Second to last throw for Ian Thomas here. Some discussion here. Whole lot of rocks in play, whole lot to think about. Richard going to take a long look at this one. Trying to get the right angle. Talking it over with Henderson here. So Richard seems just about ready to get underway here. Big moment here in the game. Want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. This one has some pace to it. Beginning to curl in. And that will just slightly deflect off the side of one of those red stones. So Humber still in good position here. Contact was made, but not enough to do much damage. So Shirliffe gonna make his way back down. The two-sport student athlete.
That's what he called. That's what he called. That's not what he threw. He threw like. Pardon?
I was being sarcastic.
No, he called for it, but he threw like.
I think of two-sport athletes. I think of Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson, baseball, football, curling, and rugby. Not the two that immediately come to your mind when you think of crossover traits, but Shirliffe getting it done on either pitch.
For example, throwing down light is better than throwing heavy. At least then you
Lumley
tap in.
nearly falling over this one, way down on the broom. Whole lot of pressure. Now Jackson's gonna join the fun. This one looks as though it'll make contact with that initial guard and stick right there. A shake of the head from Lumley, a shrug from Shirtliff. Doesn't appear as though that's what the fellas were looking for.
Well, it's just like as a shooter, knowing which way to miss.
Oh my god.
Photographer Dax out there on the rink in some Nikes. Don't know if those are slip resistant. Gotta worry about the health and safety out here.
Alright, what do you think the calls here? They're talking about the draw at their head.
A whole lot of thought going into this shot for Fanshawe. The last throw they'll have here in the fourth end.
I'd find the draw is easier.
No, head.
Charlie Richard knows what he needs to do. One last look before pushing himself down to the hack. A big throw in this game. Shirliffe is going to follow this one up with a hammer. Can Fanshawe steal a point from the Hawks? That one is approaching.
No, it's
Slightly turning out.
got to make this perfect.
Trying to split the difference here. Right down Main Street. Gets through everything. Just into the front part of the house. A pretty good looking throw there by Fanshawe, but the two closest remain yellow.
That's why I threw the head.
So big opportunity here for Humber. So let's see what the skip has in store here. His team likely to score at least two, hoping to perhaps add to that total. Steffler holding the broom out on the far side. If he could squeak through the two reds there, an opportunity to score three. The push off And the release. Here comes the hammer. This one curling well. Brendan Jackson leaning heavy on that broom. Now Lumley getting involved. And that one will just hit off that red rock, so just a hair off. Humber is able, though, to collect another 2. They'll find themselves ahead by a score of 4-2 with 4 ends in the books. An update on the women's game. Humber women find themselves up by a score of 6-2 after 4 ends. So both Humber teams find themselves ahead. They were dominant in their 9 a.m. matches, both making their opposition concede. Doesn't look likely here as Fanshawe playing them awfully close. The lead for Humber, Emerson Steffler. A little bit of house cleaning there for Lumley. And here's our first throw of the 5th end. Humber finds himself up 4-2, looking to add to that total. Brooms are out in full force. And the initial rock is a guard in place. Now time for the Falcons lead. Owen McMillan gonna get his opportunity. Working that left side, this one turning in. And they're going to burn that rock there. Not enough pace on that one. So a guard in place for Humber. Burnt rock by the Falcons. A little bit of issues with the ice service there. Jackson tidying things up. Man's been a sweeping machine today. And here's Steffler. Nice and easy as he releases that one. Looking to draw that one in towards center. Jackson and Lumley going to town. This one's going to reach the house. How far will it go? Another good looking toss there as Humber again stacks up 2. You're watching the 2020 Humber Bonspiel live on the Hawk Sports Network, coming to you from the Richmond Hills Curling Club. I'm Adam Lucier. Few games in the books, few in action, few more to go. Whole day of curling. Glad you could join us. This one looking awfully similar to that last throw we seen from the Hawks. That'll just squeak in there and give a friendly tap to that Humber rock as it'll remain closest to the button. Ian Thomas of the Fanshawe Falcons rocking the short sleeves. Humber photographer Diego Guillen in about 7 layers of clothing. Jackson with the toss. Lumley sweeping from the get-go. Sherliff letting him know what he wants. Looking to attack that left side. Looks to be pretty good pace here. Richard trying to sweep that one away, but it will stick on the back end of the house there. Now the opportunity goes the way of Ian Thomas. The Hammers flip back to the Falcons here in the 5th end. 4-2 is your score. Still anybody's contest here. And away goes Thomas. All Rock sticking on this similar line here. Quick, short sweeps here by the Falcons. Just 6 inches of that stone makes contact with the ice. Short, quick sweeps are effective. Brendan Jackson sending this one down to his skip shirtless. I may have brought up Bo Jackson earlier. Of course, none could compare to Bo and primetime Deion Sanders. But as far as Humber goes, as far as two-sport athletes go, got to give my man Zach some credit. From the ice to the grass, the skip gets it done. Directions from Charlie Richard. Ian Thomas will have the throw. Owen McMillan, first one to get the broom in action. Henderson's along with him. He's taking a breather here. McMillan's going to take this one the whole way, just squirting by that guard rock. And that one's in there. So a couple of red rocks bunched up here for the Falcons. Humbers are sparsely laid out along that 12-foot ring. Time now for Brady Lumley. Trying to get the communication in order here. Seeing a few shrugs from the fellas, trying to get on the same page. Zach's going to swat down the broom on that right side. Whole lot of action over there on the left. Humber looking for something a little more open. Steffler's sweeping hard. Jackson's going to let this one roll. Through the button it goes. Going to give a tap to its friend and stick right there. 4 stones remain here for the Fanshawe Falcons. Trying to cut in this lead here, down 4-2. Brett Henderson going to send this one away. Skip Richard once again calling it for the right side. This one slowly curling in towards that center line. Looks to be right where they need it. That'll disrupt that Humber stone right in the middle, pushing them all back to the back of the house. Falcons setting themselves up pretty well here. Do hold the hammer here in this fifth end. Brady with the push off. Appears they're going for a similar draw as we just seen from Fanshawe. This one seems to have a good weight to it as it just slides in towards that button, maybe just a hair short. So it'll be an interesting last few rocks here. Plenty of stones still in play for either side. Henderson in the ready position for the Falcons. Fanshawe seems to be targeting that center cluster there. Their skip, Charlie Richard, hovering right over that grouping. Just ticks off that guard rock. That one looks as though it'll head past the tee line. So just off on that toss by a fraction of inches. Skip Shirtless. Shirtliff is going to make his way down. Big spot for him here. He knows Fanshawe is going to be coming at the back end of this end with the hammer, trying to get his team in a good position before then. Photographer Diego back from the rink. Is it cold down there, bud? That's a big yes from Diego. But both Humber teams have been hot today. Humber women find themselves up 9-1 after the fifth end, continuing their dominant day. And the Humber men with a good-looking throw there. So it looks as though Fanshawe is in position to score here. The team with the hammer has scored on each end. Neither team yet able to steal. Second to last stone here for the Falcons. Richard and Henderson having one last chat. Richard gives the stone a turn. Appears ready to send this one away. Looking for a takeout of that yellow rock on the right side. Ian Thomas begins to sweep. This one may just split the gap. Instead, ticks off a couple of his red friends. So an absolute logjam up in front of the button here for Humber in their last throw. Steffler and Shirtliff taking a long look at the house here. Trying to decipher what's the right play here. On the other end, Lumley and Jackson keeping this ice surface intact. Shrug and a fist pump. It appears as though Zach's ready to send this last rock away here. Last time we'll see Humber throw in the fifth end. Shirtliff with a soft touch here. Jackson anything but soft on the broom. Lumley's gonna let him take it. Brendan Jackson sweeping the whole way. And that one just gonna add to the traffic jam there. Interesting to see what the call is here from Charlie Richard. Looking over the angles here. Taking a close look at that left side. Fanshawe looks in position to score at least one here. We'll see the result of the hammer. One last chat with McMillan and Thomas. And away goes Charlie.
So Dawson, why aren't they throwing the same shot they just threw?
On the left side, this one
They're doing the exact same
turning
shot,
in.
just changed handles for no apparent reason.
Sweeping hard is McMillan. Right in front of that stone. Will it get past the guard rock? Just barely. Whole lot of reds there, and they'll separate slightly. Trying to decipher what the score will be here.
They just missed that last shot for.
Yeah, I don't know what Charlie decided.
I don't know either.
If you know what it's going to do.
So it looks as though that may be two for the Fanshawe Falcons there in end number 5.
I don't know why they didn't pay that shot.
So the trend continues. Team with the hammer picks up the points. In a day of blowouts, at least for the Humber side. Fanshawe and the Hawks keeping things tight. So we head into end number 6 here. Tightly contested here in the Battle of the Birds. The lead, Owen McMillan, getting us started. Thomas and Henderson by this rock side. Henderson gets the broom going early. The skip with a shrug. He's going to come in and give a helping hand. So a guard in place after the first toss by Fanshawe on this end. Quick discussion between Richard and Henderson here. Something seemed a little off about that last throw. Falcons trying to get on the same page. All tied up at 4. Steffler getting things started for the Hawks here in N6.
Yeah, I mean, no offense, it doesn't take much after that last game. But
Lumley with the soft sweep, just going to let the momentum of this one carry it to where it needs to be.
it would have been a whole different ballgame.
May just squeak into the house. Indeed it does. So that's a good looking toss there. Guarded by that earlier Redstone. Appears as though Charlie Richard wants to draw this one around and have a takeout of that last Humber throw. We'll see if his team can execute. Here comes a throw from McMillan. Trying to draw this one into the center line. Ian Thomas leans over on this one. This one's still traveling into the house. Just a light tap on the stone. Fanshawe appears to be closest to the button at the moment, just by inches. Shurtleff wants to correct that. Have a takeout of that last stone throw. Emerson Steffler away for the Hawks. Lumley choking way down on that broom. Plenty of weight to this one, as they'll knock that red out the back end of the house. And there's a couple chilling out there for the Humber Hawks. Still early here in set 6. We have ourselves a tied game at 4. 5 ends are in the book for the Humber women's. They remain up by a score of 9-2. Next throw we see will be coming from the right hand of Ian Thomas. Fanshawe looking for a takeout of their own. Henderson getting busy with the broom. This one coming in with some good pace here. That'll take out one, tap the other, and it'll stick just there. Now time for Brendan Jackson. Steffler sweeping hard. Shurtleff calls him off for the moment. Now Lumley getting involved. A good looking throw from Brendan Jackson. Clears that red stone out of there. And once again, 2 rocks in the house for Humber. We'll see how aggressive the Falcons want to play this one. Chance here for a double takeout. Thomas away for the Falcons. Richard with the hard call. Now the fellas lay off. This one trending in the right direction for the Falcons. That Humber Rock will stay in the house, but Falcons take the best position on the board. Doesn't take too long for Zach Shirtliff to tell the fellas what he wants out of them. Jackson's going to have his second throw here in the 6th end. Steffler gets the call, starts sweeping hard. Now Lumley's turn. This one turning in. Just a hair off the mark as that Fanshawe rock appears to remain closest. Jackson not missing by much on that one. Still anybody's end here. Three rocks stacked vertically on the sheet. Appears as though Richard wants this one drawn towards the center line, trying to take out that yellow stone. McMillan with the quick sweeps here. This one has some heat behind it. Around the guard it goes. That'll push Humber's rock further to the back of the house and remove one of their own. So pretty open landscape here for either side as we work our way through the 6th end.
Fairly easy to jam that.
Throw here from Lumley. Lumley calling out to Steffler here. He'll begin to sweep. Past the guard it goes. And another good-looking takeout here by the Hawks.
Rip that double there still, but
So good execution here by Humber, as they seem to be hitting the shots they need. Quickly away is Brett Henderson. This one drawn in. Targeting those two stones at the back of the house. We'll tap one and stop right in front of the other.
that's good.
So a good looking toss there
Saved our asses, eh?
by the Fanshawe Falcons. Puts themselves in much better position. They remain closest to the button here. 3 tosses left for Humber. They do have the hammer here. Neither team able to steal any points away from the hammer so far today. Jackson heavy on that broom, trying to push that rock out of there. Unable to do so. So rock for either side in the blue ring. Really opened things up here as we head to the last 4 rocks thrown here. Looks as though the Falcons want to put themselves in a position to score here. Call from Henderson appears to be attacking the button. And the skip sends this one on its merry way. McMillan and Thomas accompany it. McMillan sweeping hard here. Got to get past the guard. It just does. And another good-looking takeout. So both teams doing what they need to do here. Tightly contested sixth end. Tightly contested game overall between these two clubs. Second to last stone here for the Hawks. Both will come off the hand of Zach Shirtliff. No Humber stones on the board as of yet. Lumley pressing hard on the ice surface there. Jackson's there to help. Now they pick up the pace. This one's on a good line. Does it have the weight? Just squeaking in there. Good position by the Hawks. A nice toss there by Shirtliff. So fist bumps all around, well deserved, as the Hawks stick to the game plan here. Last throw here in the sixth end for the Fanshawe Falcons. The duty will be charged to Charlie Richard. He'll send this one away. Brett Henderson skipping down on the other side. The push off and the release. Falcons trying to put some pressure on Shirtliff and the Hawks as they get ready to throw the hammer. McMillan adding some speed to this one here. Gonna knock off one, knock off the other, and a good looking takeout by the Fanshawe Falcons. No time wasted by Shirtliff. Rock still in motion, but he was already making his way back down to where he needs to be. He knows what he has to do. He's been on target all day today. The Hawks for sure need him now. "4-4" is your score.
Riley just needs his confidence back. Like he's throwing without it.
An important stone here for the Hawks. One of these teams is going to take the lead here. Humber hopes it's them. Past the guard it goes. And a good looking takeout and a point scored for the Humber Hawks. So they're going to regain the lead here. 6 ends in the books. Humber Hawks 4. Humber Hawks 5, that is. Fanshawe Falcons 4. Second time the men have been in action today. Picked up a dominant win over the women of Fleming College in their first action at 9 o'clock. Now hold a slim lead over the Falcons here at the Richmond Hills Curling Club. Pretty cool event going on here today. Not often we have the opportunity here at HSN to broadcast some curling. And the first throw of the seventh end is being swept hard by Jackson and Lumley. Will the guard get in place? Indeed it will. So right on the center line it goes. Fanshaw's going to have to find a way to work around that one. Charlie Richard waving the magic wand around. Finally picks his spot. The lead, Owen McMillan for the Falcons. So the Humber women pick up another win by a score of 9-2. So what a day it's been for the skip, Caitlin Jones and her crew. For the men, they're trying to go 2-0 as well. This one trending towards the button. A good-looking first throw there by Fanshawe, utilizing that first Humber toss as their own guard. Zach Shirtliff not hesitating on his call. He wants this out on the left side. It's going to be up to Emerson Steffler to get it there. Handle at 2 o'clock. Then starts to turn it in.
Asking about lunch. Curl it in, game.
Lumley choking down on his broom. Now Jackson gets to sweeping. Jackson's broom speed, something to behold, as that one finds its home right on the button. So back-to-back aggressive tosses there. Both teams trying to score. Fanshawe's skip Richard wants to take out. It's up to his lead, McMillan, to execute. Pushing off the hack. And away it goes. Plenty of pace on this one. Got some steam behind it. Right on target, and that'll take out Humber's last stone. 2 in the house, and they both belong to the Falcons. Shirtliff making a similar call to Richard just moments ago. Brendan Jackson. He's going to have his first throw here in the 7th end. Been busy with the broom, has also had some nice tosses today. Steffler sweeping hard. And once again, a clean looking takeout by the Humber Hawks. Ian Thomas taking over throwing duties here for the Falcons. Once more, Fanshawe looking for the takeout. The one Humber guard Stone not playing much of a factor here on this toss. McMillan sweeping. And he won't lay off, gonna bring it the whole way. And away goes the Humber Stone. So side by side, sit the Red Stones of the Fanshawe Falcons. Still plenty of stones to go here. The Humber fellas want to talk this one over. All 4 guys in on this chat. Steffler, Jackson, Lumley, and Shirtliff. 4 fellas representing Humber at the 2020 Humber Bonspiel. Great event put on here at the Richmond Hills Curling Club. Whole lot to look forward to, some good curling. So Humber believes they have all their ducks in a row now after that quick chat. Jackson gonna have his second throw. Shirtliff wants this one right on the nose of that guard stone. We'll see if they get the bounce just off target. So if anything, it'll clear out that guard. Those two red rocks of Fanshawe stand alone. And now it's time for the four guys of Fanshawe to have their chat. Whole lot of ways you could play this here. Talk on the other end between Lumley and Shirtliff. Two evenly matched teams here. Could tell by the scoreboard. 6 ends in the books, and it's just a 1-point differential. So Charlie Richard with one last shot there. Ian Thomas going to take his spot on the hack. Fanshawe holds the hammer here. Ian Thomas pushes himself off, and away we go. This one begins on the right side, beginning to curl in. Right on path to those two red stones, and three's company for the Fanshawe Falcons. So not a yellow stone on the board. And the Hawks don't seem too focused on scoring with this throw, as Shirtliff is directing traffic, trying to get that double takeout. Perhaps a triple if they could get that one on the back end. Jackson and Steffler leading this one. Jackson getting away in front of it. Whole lot of speed to it, whole lot of pace. And there it is. Hit all three. One redstone sticks around the button. But right what the skip called for. Now time for Brett Henderson. One rock on the board, and it is red. So once again, Shirtliff having a laugh, little wiggle there as he's calling for the takeout.
You can keep doing that.
Gives the boys a giggle. Now time for Braden Lovely.
It's like seriously 3 seconds
This is the one that needs it the
to 4
most.
seconds by the time he's calling.
Starting on the left side. Slight turn inward. Jackson going heavy on that broom. They'll get one. Just squeaks past the other. So a big break there for the Fanshawe Falcons. as that rock stays right where they wanted it. Third to last rock in the 7th end for Fanshawe. They'll have a chance to score big here with the hammer. Charlie Richard wants a takeout of that last Humber stone. Henderson trying to be on target. This one appears to be where it needs to be. That's the takeout they needed. And that one red rock sitting all by its lonesome. So if I was a betting man, I'd see we'll have a takeout here. Sherliff always with a smile on the face as he gets a chat with Jackson and Lumley. And Steffler indeed calling for the takeout. We'll see the pace Sherliff puts on this one. Going pretty good. Got some velocity behind it. Lumley is going to give it the help it needs. And that's a good looking toss there by the skip. Zach Sherliff get the takeout and sit on the back end of that button. (5-4) is your score through 6 ends. Just 3 rocks remain here in the 7th. Throwing now for Fanshawe. There's skip Charlie Richard. This one's starting right on the center line. Into curl right back in, trying to take out that center one. Seems to be right on line, and indeed it is. So Fanshawe sticks that one on the outskirts of the house. So the last toss we'll see from Humber here in the 7th end before the hammer comes down for the Falcons. Another takeout opportunity. Not much sweeping needs to be done with the pace put on this one. And both rocks clear the area. So a pretty straightforward hammer here for the Fanshawe Falcons. Trying to put one on the board. Richard releases off the hack. And all the Falcons need to do is stick this one in the house. And they'll get themselves a point, trying to tie this one up. Instead, that one will go straight through. So that means Fanshawe will maintain the hammer in the next end. So a little bit of strategy play there by the Fanshawe Falcons. They let that one roll right on through. And with 7 ends in the books, it's a 5-4 game. Humber leads. As we begin the 8th end, Emerson Steffler with the first throw. It's making its way gingerly down the sheet. Lumley and Jackson urging it forward. Sweeping hard to get that guard in place right down Main Street on the center line. One throw in the books for the Hawks. Now time for Owen McMillan. Skip wants this one on the right side. We'll see how aggressive Fanshawe wants to play this one. Will we see a guard, or will this one trend towards the button? Sweeping hard, Thomas and Henderson. Richard getting in on the action. That one finds its way into the house. And not too far, just a couple feet from the button there. And you got to imagine Shirley wants to get that one out of there ASAP. Second throw in the 8th end here for Steffler. Jackson, the first one to touch his broom to the ice, going to let it slide. Humber seems pretty pleased with the pace of this one. No need to intervene. That'll just barely tap the redstone off the mark. On the far side is Charlie Richard. Now brings his broom back to center, awaiting the throw from McMillan. This one will start in the middle. Slowly curling to its left. Broom's out of play here. And this one looking to find its home, and indeed it does. So a couple rocks right near the button here for the Falcons. Plenty of rocks still to be thrown here. Jackson with the toss. Lumley and Steffler sweeping right from the jump. Just going to let this one ride out. A little light on the pace there, as once again they just moved that red rock closer to the button. So a couple miscues here by the Hawks. Shake of the head by Brendan Jackson. Not too pleased with that toss there. Getting a pick up from his skip Shirtliff. Ian Thomas going to release that one. Brett Henderson giving what he's got. Trying to take out the one Humber stone in the house, and they're successful in doing so. Three closest to the button, all red at the moment. Not an ideal throw coming off the right hand of Brendan Jackson in his last attempt, but an opportunity to redeem himself here. Sherliff directing him to the right side of the house. Jackson trying to find his line. Steffler in on the action. Lumley eyeing it out.
Yeah. It's been a good game. There's a couple issues, but
Steffler coming in late here. They'll get the push on the red stone, but once again, that's going to sit right on top of the button.
I actually wrote it down more this time, but
So slowly, Humber just keeps inching that red rock closer and closer to where it needs to be. This has the potential to be a big end here for the Falcons. Charlie Richard going over his options here. Thomas pushes off and releases. Both brooms are down. This one slowly curling in. Trying to draw this one towards the button. Past the guard stone it goes. And another good looking toss for the Falcons.
hey Barry, how do you turn B down? Like, I only figured out how to turn A down. Charlie's been like yelling in my ear this whole game. But like deaf, and all I can hear is like.
So you go to the group, so that's group setting.
Yeah.
Hold down the group. Now it's on B.
So a good look here in the 8th end for the Falcons as they have two stones occupying the button at the moment. Sherliff knows just what to do, knock them both out. We'll see if Lumley has what it takes. Jackson and Steffler. Steffler beginning to sweep, staying right behind this one. Will it have enough juice? Pushes the one out of the way.
Slam it.
So a big decision here for Charlie Richard. What does he want to do with this throw? Weighing his options. And he picks his spot. Left side of the house. Yellowstone, he's got his eye on. Brett Henderson with the throw. This one has some good speed behind it. Broom's taking it easy for the moment. Gonna let the momentum of this one take it where it needs to be. That's gonna squirt right through and out the back line. So that avoids just about everything on the sheet. And a bit of an opening here for Humber. 3 rocks remain for either team. Lumley sends this one on its way. Jackson's the one out in front. Calls off Steffler. Now Steffler gets involved. Fancy footwork to stay along with this one. This one drawn in towards the button. That's going to knock that red rock, but it does remain closest. So Fanshawe closest to the button here. Reaching the tail end of this 8th end. Hawks hold the lead by a score of 5-4. Richard once again methodical in his decision making. And it looks as though we'll have ourselves a timeout. The skip, Charlie Richard, looked over everything there. Didn't exactly know what he was looking for. Instead, looks up to the coaches and calls a timeout. So all four Falcons converge on the house here. Coaches down to talk to the players. The Humber men were on the money in their first action today, having that blowout victory against Fleming. Much more tightly contested here. Few throws have got away from them, but still maintain the lead. Head coach Turf relaying to Humber what he wants to see as this end closes out for the Falcons. A big decision in front of them here. This is the only action remaining on the pitch at the Richmond Hills Curling Club. These two teams the last to settle for a scheduled little lunch break. It's been a long day for the players and the crew. All looking forward to grabbing a bite to eat before we conclude the action later on this afternoon. Full day of action at the 2020 Humber Bonspiel. More action on HSN tomorrow as the volleyball teams take on the Mohawk Mountaineers at 1 and 3 p.m. What a tear it's been for both volleyball teams. Humber women on a 7-game win streak. Their record 9-2. And Humber men now up to 11-0. Number one ranked nationally. What a tear they've been on. So after the timeout, Brett Henderson ready to throw. Whole lot of speed on this stone here, targeting a takeout. And indeed, they'll get it. That one will draw right in towards the button. And some good execution there by Henderson. Sherliff pretty quick with the decision making here. He knows what he wants to do. Targeting that red rock right on the button. Explaining to Steffler what he would like to see. So as Shirtliff backs away, we're going to see the second to last stone for the Hawks here in the 8th end. This the final end. Few important throws upcoming. Sherliff holds the stone in the right hand. This one trailing in. Brendan Jackson at a full gallop, staying with this one. It's going to pass that guard stone. Will it reach? Indeed it will. A good looking toss from the hand of Zach Shirtliff. A big point here in a 1-point game, 5-4 is your score. Shirtliff definitely improved the position here for the Hawks. Fanshawe has taken their time with the decision making here in this match.
I mean, you're gonna have to make a shot on the next.
Henderson and Richard talking things over.
On this two over here.
A lot of commotion in the house at the moment. Closest to the button is yellow. That's Humber. Fanshawe holds the all-important final hammer.
Let them have that. At least then you're gonna have a shot at it with the way not. You're bringing the outliers in for the two. Rather than, 'cause then he's got to guard it perfectly. Even.
A lot of discussion going on, and rightfully so.
I mean, you make this pick now. He hits 6-3. You're making a trip.
If Falcons score 2, they're going to take the victory. If they score 1, we may see some extra ends. So Charlie Richard going to head back to the hack. Give that stone a wipe. Get ready to toss. Big moment in this match here. Tightly contested the whole way through. Here's a throw from the skip, Richard. Ian Thomas. First to get the broom down. Thomas staying with this one. Broom stays off the ice. Seems to be on line. And that's an interesting spot. Let's see what Shirtliff could think up here. The last throw we're going to see from the Hawks in this one. Unless we go to an extra end. The only game on the pitch at the moment, all eyes on the Fanshawe Falcons and Humber Hawks. The old 401 rivalry between London and Toronto. These schools go toe-to-toe in every OCAA sport. Curling no different. Team Shirtliff and Team Richard play this one close the whole way. No different here in the 8th end.
Charlie knows you have to make a shot on that. So.
So who else would you want the stone in the hand of? It's Zach Shirtliff.
It is a tight schedule. It's only good news.
Hawks really need a big shot here. Shirtliff gives it a slight turn in. Broom's going steady, now picking up the pace. Jackson looks up, takes a glare. A lot of focus on the eyes of these sweepers. Turning in towards center, coming close to the button here. And that's a nice looking shot from Shirtliff, just what the fellas needed. So the Hawks did exactly what they needed to do, putting the Falcons in a tricky spot here. Got to think Richard and the boys going to take their time with this one, thinking it over. Appears as though Humber's pretty happy with how they set themselves up. Fist bump between Lumley and Shirtliff. Ian Thomas putting in his 2 cents. All 4 fellas taking a close eye at this one. The throw will go to Charlie.
Yeah, throw a quiet draw, just catch the inside of the one he just threw, and you get part of the button, right?
taking a lean in, getting a good hard look. The final hammer in the final end.
I think the one there with jam would stay. Back 13 then.
Discussion continues. Thomas trying to point out the vision in his head. Richard shakes that one off. Now McMillan letting the skip know what he thinks. All Humber could do now is stand and wait. They've done all they could do here. At the very least, putting Fanshawe in a tough spot. It's going to take a big throw here for Fanshawe to capitalize. So back go the Falcons. Tense moments here at the Richmond Hills Curling Club. Charlie Richard gives this one a spin and pushes away. Game will be decided on this throw. McMillan sweeping hard. This is going to be awfully close to the guard. Will touch. And the points will go to Humber. So it's tightly contested, competitive match here, but Humber does come away with it. Humber men and women going 2-0 in the early action today. Still one match remains for the men. Fanshawe Falcons put up one heck of a fight, but the Battle of the Birds goes the way of the Hawks. Zach Sherliff and the fellas come away with a big victory. More action coming to Ray shortly, but for now, lunch. We're all looking forward to it here. We'll catch you back on HSN. I'm Adam Lucier. Thanks for tuning in.